Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us again today. Been a bit since we have come to you guys with a live stream. So appreciate everybody jumping on here. Have some exciting things to go over today with our newest feature of the background remover. So we're going to have some examples of that and going to walk through some other ideas as well that I think would work really well. So excited to go over that with everybody. As I said, thanks for joining. For those that tried to join, let's see, I guess it was last Thursday when we tried to do this. Sorry for the trouble there and for the link in that email not working. We were all set up, ready to go, got online as we usually do a few minutes early. Everything was working fine with StreamYard. And literally, as we clicked the go live button, StreamYard crashed and we weren't able to get in and do anything with StreamYard. So right away, I thought, well, maybe I can go straight to YouTube and do it there. I tried downloading another software kind of in that 5 or 10 minutes to be able to connect and still go live on the same stream because I knew you guys were there waiting and I wanted the link to work. Anyway, long story short, none of that ended up working. And so we decided to just kind of reschedule, which is where we're at today. So again, thanks for joining. Gonna jump right into it here, share our screen. Excited for this one because it really opens up a lot of additional possibilities for you guys. So essentially what this is a background remover tool that will work with customer uploaded images, right? So any image that you get from the customer, whether they're sending it to you for an Etsy order, or if you're on Shopify, it works with the live preview. And it works with the cropper tool as well. So while it's not a direct automatic face cutout tool, you can still easily add an oval shape and be able to kind of get that similar kind of face cutout feature for a lot of stuff. So I'm going to walk through a few examples of both of those. And then also walk through some niches, and maybe we'll do a little bit of looking around on Etsy on some other designs that I think would work really well, that now kind of gives you the ability to do this without, I mean, technically it was possible before, but there's a lot of extra steps, right? It's like you had to go somewhere else and remove the background. Didn't really work that well with Shopify. So this is really going to make that entire process across the board a lot easier and open up a lot more possibilities to you guys on what you can offer. So let me just jump in here and, like I said, start going through a few examples here. All right. Let's see here. Let me share my screen with everybody. And while I'm pulling that up, I see we have a question. Is this available with all plans? So this will be available with any plans that allow the photo upload. So as long as you can have that personalized image, this functionality is going to be there. So it's part of the like personalization step on the image. In particular, if you're on Shopify, you really, for this to be able to take full effect, you're going to want the Pro Plus plan, because you will need the live previews for the customer to be able to kind of see what it looks like or do any of the image cropping or that sort of thing. So what I thought I would start off with here was just a simple product that we build completely in AnywherePOD. That's going to be kind of a memorial gift type of ornament. And then we'll also do one where we start the design in Canva and then import it into AnywherePOD. So, all right. So to get started here, what I'm going to do is we're going to look at ornaments. For this particular one, I wanted one that was like see-through, like either a glass or an acrylic or something like that. So a few options I had there. Printify has they have some glass and they have some acrylic, and then Shine On also has their acrylic ornament. So I thought we would go with their acrylic ornament today. So we're going to come in here. This is a Empire Builder exclusive. So if you don't see this product in your catalog, it may be because you don't have Empire Builders. Like I said, though, there are other options from other suppliers. And really, this process that we're using is going to work, really across the board on any other products. So it's not, not doesn't have to be like a see-through ornament like this. It would work on any of the other ornaments that are available as well. So we're gonna come in here and go to start designing here. Now, as I don't have a design pre-done for this, so I'm just gonna add a few text layers and upload the image and do all that stuff right here inside of AnywherePOD. So let's just go through and start building that. So this is just gonna have Forever Loved. It's gonna have the person's name, image, and then years at the bottom for customers to enter. So let's start off here with our just Forever Loved text. And we'll move that up here towards the top. And now we're going to want a text field just below that. That's going to be the person's name. So we'll say something like Raymond, and we'll change to a more scripty font here. And again, we'll make that a little bit larger so we can, it'll work with longer names and resize correctly. So now is where we want the image in the middle, where the customer can supply the like a customer supplied image here. So I'm gonna come over here to add image, and I am just gonna find my example one I have here and go to open. Okay, so this would be, like I said, our like placeholder type image. So we'll mark this as personalized because this is when the customer uploads their image. This is what we want kind of replaced with that, right? So I'll click on personalized, and you'll see down here now you have a few options. The cropper functionality is here, just like before, but now you also have this option here to remove the background. So that will not only remove the background on our placeholder image that we have here, but then also, since it's personalized, whenever a customer uploads a photo or we upload the photo for the customer onto the order, it's also going to go ahead and remove that background for us. Now, a couple things to note on the image cropper. Normally, by default, we have this checked. In this case, most of the time, unless you've already applied a custom shape in Canva to a design that you're importing, most of the time you are going to want to either turn off this image cropper, or you are going to want to crop it to a specific shape so that it takes up the same kind of print area in your design. So I'm going to turn that off for now, just so that when we kind of get to the customer upload piece, I can kind of show you guys a little bit more what it looks like when we don't have the image cropper enabled at all. And then when we do our kind of face cutout example, you guys will be able to see a little bit more on what that looks like. Okay, so now we've got that marked as personalized, and I need to remember to mark my Raymond here as personalized as well. And we're going to put Raymond at the top because we want this in the same order. And then we're also going to add one more text field here. And this is going to be for our year. So we'll just say, well, let's do like 1952 to 2025. And this will be able to be personalized as well. And we'll put this one down at the bottom here, just below the image. And we're going to move this to the bottom as well, because the order that our text layers are over here is going to be the same order that they're going to show up on for any of the personalization. So we kind of want to have those in order here. So now that we have that, and that's marked as personalized, this has the option to do it with a box. So we'll turn that on. And now we'll just go to create product. Now, like Melissa is going to go through and create the placeholder artwork with all of that text and everything that we have set up. And then we can also generate any of the mockups that are available from the supplier. In this case, we're going to just go ahead and publish this to Shopify. And we want to turn on our live previews here as well. So that's going to now go through, create the live previews, and then it's also going to go ahead and get this published over to Shopify for us. So now we can go edit in Shopify to pull this up inside of Shopify. And now we're going to go to preview, to actually pull it up on our store here. So now if we go to our personalize option here, you'll see we can put in a different name. And when we upload a new file and go to upload, this is going to upload that image, and then it's also going to automatically remove that background for us before it applies it and shows it on the image here for us as well. So you can see here that went ahead. So it kept it in the same kind of general location as the last one. This one's laid out just a little bit differently, but it still works really well because when you do that background remover, it's also going to remove any of the extra white space from around the outside of the image. So all you're left with really is that particular subject. And then when it places it on the product, since we don't have our image cropper enabled, it is just going to, if it's a different size, it's just going to center it in the same place that our original default one was set to. So in most cases, that should still work really well and do a good job. And then, of course, here we can put in any of our other personalization that we want before this is then added to the cart. So keep in mind, if you're on Etsy, this whole same process works virtually the same way. It's just that instead of the customer being able to do this step of the personalization themselves, they would send you their image. And then when the order goes on hold and you go to upload it, you're going to be able to upload that image directly onto the order, and it'll remove the background and do all that sort of stuff for you right there on the order for you guys. But it's the same steps are there, and everything works essentially the exact same way on that piece of it. So that's our first example here on the ornament. So let me also kind of walk through one. I wanted to do one that is a repeating image of a golf towel. If you guys haven't done or looked at, I think we actually did a live stream on this a few months ago, and we were just looking at the data again the other day on golf towels on Etsy is still really, really strong. Like even just that broad search term of golf towel does really, really well. Has great search volume and still not very much competition on Etsy. So not many people have kind of jumped on that trend yet. And there are a lot of different options on Etsy for golf towels. So let me just come over here and I wanted to see, yeah. So here is one example of one that we have looked at a few times. I think we looked at it on that stream before, where you kind of have, switched again here, where you kind of have that repeating image of the dog, or you could do kids or any kind of custom photo upload that you can put that kind of repeating pattern on. So with this background remover, you can still do something very similar to this and come up with some pretty good results. So wanted to walk through an example of that with you guys real quick and kind of how I would set up one of those. So let's come back over here to AnywherePOD. And I'm just going to do a search here for our golf towel. So we're going to go ahead and do this one here from Printify. You have an option from Printify or from T-Launch. So let's design this one in Canva, because then we can take advantage of Canva frames so that our cropper tool and everything is all automatically set up to match what we create inside of Canva. So I just opened this in Canva here. And really all I'm wanting to do is, for this quick example, is kind of a repeating face pattern. So instead of building the pattern and everything here in Canva, I'm just going to kind of add it as a single image, and then we can turn that more into a repeating pattern once we get it over in AnywherePOD. So let me see if we can find under photos here, see what kind of kid image we can find. Let's see here. Okay, let's add this, and then let's go to frames. And actually on this, for our example, I'm going to go ahead and remove the background here. And that looks fine. And let's find our, come back to elements here. And and I want frames. Let's see, maybe if I do oval frame. No, let's just try oval. That's my problem. I'm still on photos here. I'm like, how comes it's not showing me actually any frames? Okay, let's get back to all elements here. There's our frames. All right, so now in here, we should be able to go with an oval. There we go. So we'll put that on there. And then what we're going to do is go ahead and add the kid image here. And again, really, this is mostly for kind of mock-up purposes because we're going to build this, like I said, as a pattern inside of AnywherePOD anyway. So we're just kind of getting things close here, and then we'll need to adjust the actual placement of the frame inside of AnywherePOD anyway. So there's that. If we wanted any other additional text on here, like, we love you, or any other kind of background or anything like that, we could certainly add that here. But again, just kind of going for a quick, simple example here to show you how we can get that frame to import over from Canva. So let's jump back over here to AnywherePOD now. And let's go add from Canva. And it is, I did not name it, so it's going to be this untitled one here that doesn't have the thumbnail generated yet. Canva just hasn't generated a thumbnail for that image yet. So we're just going to go ahead and say import layers. And that'll take just a second here to complete. All right, so we have that imported. It is in our frame, but you can see it just kind of centers the image. So we want to actually adjust that. So I'm going to come down here to the bottom and click on Open Cropper Tool. And this is actually going to open up the cropper functionality for me here. And we can kind of adjust this to get a bit closer to what we wanted on the image there. And click on Select. All right, there we go. So now we have basically that face cutout. So now what we want to do is turn this into a repeating pattern. So again, this could be a kid, it could be a dog. And again, this process works on any of the products. So we want to go ahead and first of all, before I forget, I want to make sure to mark this to remove the background. We had removed the background inside of Canva just for our kind of demo purposes, but you always want to make sure to check that remove background box in AnywherePOD. That way, when it's on your store or anything like that, it's actually marked as needing the background removed, and everything will then come through correctly from there. So once we have that, we're going to go ahead and go to create pattern here. And now we can adjust some of our spacing and any of our offset. So we get kind of more of a brick layout or pattern like that. And everything should be good there. If we wanted to add names in here, we could add names. We could do our names as a repeating pattern as well, or you can add individual text fields and link them all together to kind of get a unique pattern that way that has different colors and sizes and all that type of stuff. But just wanted to kind of show this as the basic version here to start with. So once we have that all set, we can just go to create product. And again, that's going to go through and create all of the placeholder artwork for us, and then also give us any of the mock-ups that are available as well. So we'll let that finish here. And then we'd be able to set this up with a live preview on Shopify, or when it comes into AnywherePOD as well. So just to see what that's going to kind of look like, if we come to here, add to cart, and we go to add personalization, when we upload a new image here, let me just find one. Let's see here. There we go. Let's do, this is kind of two images in one, but we'll be able to get it with the cropper here. So once this uploads here, we'll now be able to kind of adjust the cropper tool area so that it is over the just the face portion. So you can see it's removed the background, and now we can kind of adjust this. So we're just kind of cropping out the head features here, and click on select, and it's now going to crop that out and apply it to our artwork with the pattern and everything there all set up for us and good to go. So that's kind of how you would do that, using the cropper tool in combination with the kind of background remover tool to really kind of be able to open up some of the possibilities that you can do with this. This whole tool, I think, will work really well. Not only just the examples like we showed here, but I think there's a lot of memorial type niches that we've seen do really well before on like maybe the shine on acrylic plaques. I've seen even similar stuff to memorials or stuff with dogs. Or if you want to take the head and put it on a face, on the body of a dog, there's a lot of different stuff there that you can do that this will work really well for, especially in combination with that cropper tool. So just remember when we're talking about that cropper tool, let me jump back over to our other design here. When you are adding this type of design and you're removing the background, by default, like I said, it's going to have the cropper, enable image cropper checked here, and it's not going to have a second image uploaded because it's going to use your main image, which most of the time works great. But in this case, since we're removing our background, it says that cropper tools by default is essentially going to want to use this image for the cropper, which you're not going to want to do that. So when you do the remove background, you're either going to want to make sure it's imported from Canva using their frames, or that you're checking this second box here to crop it to a custom shape, and you're uploading that shape that you want the kind of image to end up being when it's uploaded by the user. So hopefully all of that makes sense. Happy to answer any questions that you guys have, whether it's in regards to this cropper tool or other functionality or anything else. I'm happy to kind of get into more detail on any questions that you guys might have. So let's see here. I think I saw a couple questions already. Do they have the mock-ups for dog towels now? Oh, you meant golf towels? That was kind of my problem. I didn't know how to create mock-ups. So let me see. They have some mock-ups for golf towels, but I think they really only have this kind of one generic image. I think this was a separate test that I was doing here. It looks like they only have the one mock-up image that's available now. Let me just double check. Yes, it looks like it's just that one image still. So they have not added any additional mockups to that yet. So you could work on adding your own or add this to kind of your own background, but they at least have the one kind of general mockup that is there and available now. Can you show how we would add a word to the create pattern with a picture? Yeah, so what I would do here, if we come into edit, let's make this image just a little bit smaller. That's a little big. And let's add in some more spacing here. So when you're adding text as a pattern, there's a couple of different options that you can do. One is we can come in here and go to add text. Maybe you're wanting to put in like the kid's name. So let's just say Christy here, for example. What we can do here is come into here and create a pattern. And then you have a similar type of functionality here where you can change your spacing both horizontally and vertically. And then you can change your offset to kind of get everything lined up the way that you want it for your pattern. That's one way that you can do it. They get one text field. When you mark it as personalized, they can enter it in one text field, and everything is it's going to put the name in all those spots. In this case, all of your text fields are going to have the same color, the same font. Everything's going to be applied exactly the same. to all of the text fields that are added here. The other option that you have is you can add a text field, and let's say Christy here. Let's change this to maybe something scripty, change the color. And we can actually manually position this. So say we want this one here. Maybe we're going to fill up some of these blank areas here, right? Then what we can do is duplicate this. And maybe we want a different font. And we're going to do a different color like that. And we want it personalized as well, but we don't want the customer to have to enter in the name multiple times. So what we can do here is actually link to field. And I didn't mark this one here as personalized, I think. Yep. So on this one, we can say link to field, and we'll just link it to our other text field here and click save. And now you'll see when we enter in anything in this field, it's going to automatically update the text that's available in both fields. So you can do that multiple times over and over. So that's a good way, especially if you have text fields that you want to be different sizes, different colors, different, whatever, maybe a random pattern instead of an actual like repeating pattern. Using that link field works really well to be able to set up all those text fields, and then the text itself is inherited between the two. So it's a good way to be able to do that. Who does the golf towels? I'll get some to make mock-ups. So those are available two places. One is from Printify through Taylor, and then also T-Launch has golf towels available there as well. Etsy has some PSD golf towel mock-ups to buy. If you do a search, you may find one you like. Yes, and they may also have ones that are set up. If they're set up as either a PNG or like sometimes they'll call it like a drag and drop, you could actually set those up using our mockup templates section here as well. And then those would be able to be automatically generated for you whenever you create golf towels. So you don't have to go into Photoshop or Canva or something separately to create your mockups. They would just automatically be available right there on the product for you as you create them. What is the max allowed on the linking fields? How many link names can we have? So there is no like explicit limit on how many of those fields that you can have. You can also do that with patterns. So like if you've got multiple fields that you want to add that are going to be different, but they could still work as a pattern by adding multiple text patterns on top of each other, linking them together, you can kind of get that random pattern look as well. So either one of those two options can do really well for you. Wow, link to fields. So didn't know about that. Very cool. Thanks for sharing. Learn something new all the time when watching your lives. Awesome. Awesome. Thanks for joining. When the buyer is choosing variants in the store, can you see the final adjusted product before or without adding to cart? Yes. So that live preview that I showed with the ornament, that kind of first example of the shine on ornament, that would show shows it actually on the product. So that's the final adjusted product. They would see that before they actually add it to cart. So that's going to be that live preview step that you want there. Brandon said, well done, Chris and team. I can now unsubscribe from T and Blue. Cool. I'm glad that you are finding it useful and continue to. We have, I'm really bad about spilling the beans, so I'm trying not to spill this one too publicly. I'll just say we have some really awesome stuff planned between now and Q4 that I think is really going to take things to the next level. I haven't really seen anybody else doing it yet, so really excited. So I'll just say stay tuned on that stuff. Golf towels generally seem to print only on the front. If you want a blue towel, it will print and look blue, but the back will still be white. Most commercial towels are the same color on both sides. That is true. The golf towels, let's see if both of them are that way. I don't think they have two-sided prints available on either one yet. Let's see. Look here. So it looks like T-Launch allows you to do front and a back. So you could either do the same design front and back, or if you just wanted the same color all the way around, like say you wanted to add, like a red, have it be like a red towel, you could put in your red color here, set up your design, and then just set the red on the back. And then you'd have the entire design on the front and just the red kind of background on the back, or you do the full design on both sides. So it looks like they do have it. Let's see what Printify is here. Yeah, Printify looks like they do not. I'm kind of surprised that they do not have front and back. Let me make sure that that is correct and they haven't changed that recently, because I would think, I'm just double checking on Printify's site here, and no, they only have the front print available. So that is a good point between the two. If you're wanting full color on both sides, looks like T-Launch will do that for you. And I believe T-Launch has a few other mockups available as well. Let me see. It takes a while for their mockups to generate. So let me see if I have a product already created with them with some mockups here. Yeah, so they do have two. So they kind of have just the plain front one, but then they do at least have one kind of hanging off a golf bag. So a little bit more variety there, but still really lacking in the golf towel department on mockups. Did you do a tutorial on the random pattern look? I don't know if we've done one completely on a random pattern. I know that we've done a few. Let's see here. Or on text patterns, I guess I should say. So I know for sure this one here is a good one because it's doing clip art as well as like a pattern background. It uses that link to field as well, but it's not really a full on random pattern. And I know there's been a few others that we've done kind of text patterns on with before. But probably not, may not be to the extent that you're looking for. But if you get in and have any trouble setting it up, feel free to reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to help with that. We can create a mockup template with a Canva drag and drop mockup. Also didn't know that. Does it let us adjust size? As some designs need to be larger or smaller, I've noticed. Yeah, so when I say drag and drop, it would need to be, there's a few different ways that Canva mockups work. One, some of them will use an actual frame where like you're dragging the image into itself and it's using kind of the traditional like Canva like frames. The other that some people call a drag and drop mockup is where it's a PNG file essentially that gets added to Canva, and then you add your artwork, and then you put your artwork behind the image. So like they'll have you right click and say send to back. Those are the type that you can set up using our mockup templates, and those will work correctly with that. So then you'll size your artwork to fit on that mockup correctly. And then in the future, it's using your actual mockup that's generated for that specific product. So your artwork's always going to be in the same size. So it's able to just automatically generate that mockup then for any future products as well. Let's see here. If you have time, can you do an Usha design for quilts? Just trying to figure out what the correct way to upload a design to make sure the file is big enough for the quilts. Thank you. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it kind of depends on what it is that, what type of design you're using. But generally you'd want to import, and either do a pattern and, have the image be small enough for the pattern, right? Because it's going to repeat multiple times. So you don't need the full huge size. It's going to kind of generate, or you'll want to use the pixel dimensions that are actually listed on the product, and then you can import it using it straight from there. If you're having issues or any questions on that, please feel free to head up support. We'd be happy to help walk through any of that for you. Isn't reliable POD gone now? So all listings via APOD will need addressing. Yeah, so any reliable POD, they said they have plenty of inventory, and it's just their kind of POD side that's going away. So themselves as a company, it sounds like, are still going to be around. They have, I guess, some other um, sides of their business. I'm not 100% sure. That's been around for a while. They're continuing. So they're basically selling through their inventory through the end of this month. So any orders that you have that come in between now and July 1st, they are confident they will be able to fulfill without any issues. And then after that, they're planning on shutting down their site and not offering POD anymore. So if you have listings with them, you will need to move them over to a different supplier, which we have at least one supplier that's coming on board. I'm hoping to still be able to get them in this month. That's going to be able to take off some of the load that has some similar products to what Reliable had. Not everything, but some of the stuff, especially on some of the laser engraving side of things that Reliable did. So we're hoping to be able to get them in right away so they can kind of help to pick up some of that slack. And then some of the other products that are unique to Reliable, we're trying to find suppliers for. They were kind of unique to them, so it's a little bit hard to find suppliers for those. But we have a line on a couple that we're hoping come through, but no guarantees on those yet. We're not 100% sure if they're going to be able to or what the timing would look on some of those. So we are working on hopefully finding some replacements for some of that stuff, though. Is there a tutorial on setting up designs for mugs, water bottles? I also noticed that there are no mockups generated for these products. So if no mockups are generating, reach out to support so we can take a look at your account and make sure there's not any kind of connection issue or anything there. But really, the product creation process should be the same across the board, whether it's mugs or a different product. The only difference is that on mugs, we do give the option to mirror the image of the product on both sides of the mug automatically. So say if I had, let's just upload something here, for example. If I had this image here that I wanted to put on this mug and kind of have that centered up, you'll see down here, we're going to automatically mirror that same image on both sides. So no matter which way you're kind of holding the mug, it's going to have that same image on both sides. And then you can adjust the placement of these down here as well. Or if you want the full wrap, like kind of normal full wrap design, you can turn off that mirroring and be able to design it yourself. That's really the only difference with mugs to any other product. So if you get into it and you have any questions as you're trying to build mugs or anything, let us know. We can help out. Thanks. I'll check out T-Launch. Perfect. Reliable is ending 7-1. Yes, that was a big bummer when I saw that, because there was some of their products that I was really liking. So rather unfortunate. So all right. Any other questions before we sign off from you guys today? I appreciate everybody jumping on. It's been a little while since we've done a live stream, so it was great to see everybody join. We always really enjoy doing these, and glad you guys took time out of your day to jump on. Yeah, if you guys have any questions kind of throughout the week, always feel free to let us know. We're always really open to feedback as well. So if you have any feedback, anything to do with AnywherePOD at all, we're always more than excited to hear that, and love getting ideas and recommendations from you guys, because sometimes you guys think of things that we hadn't thought of yet that we're excited to add. So alrighty, sounds good. If you guys have any questions, let us know. Drop a line to support. Thank you for joining us here today, guys. Keep an eye out for some upcoming streams and videos and new feature releases. And we'll see everybody in the community. Thanks a lot, everybody. Take care.